This cabinet needs some attention. It's MDF and it's all swelled up with water and it's turning into garbage. It has to be addressed. I'm going to show you how to address this, save thousands of dollars, and fix it for under 75 bucks. Let's go. MDF cabinets. I don't know who thought of it, but it was a bad idea. MDF, medium density fiberboard. It's like cardboard and it's not water resistant. Over time, it swells up and it needs to be fixed. You could replace the whole vanity, which is very expensive. You're talking about the cabinet, the top, the sink, the faucet, the plumbing work. Wow, that's a big job. It probably cost you $2,000 to have someone come do that. That's just more money than I want to spend, and maybe more money than you want to spend. So a good alternative is just replace the doors and the panels in the front of the drawers. So I'm going to walk you through my method of getting that job done. Let's go. So these cabinets have doors and drawer fronts that are made of MDF, and it's not very good when it gets wet. So that's wrecked. I took this panel off and it's just completely wrecked. And this door is wrecked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace all the wrecked stuff. Now the cabinet, it's made out of wood. It's okay. I can repaint it and it'll be like brand new. But the drawer fronts got to be replaced. It's expensive to replace the whole vanity, tearing it all out, putting it in, new top and everything, new sink. This is something that anybody with a few basic homeowner tools can do. It's not that difficult. This fake drawer front or top panel is connected by screws that you can get to through the doors from inside. To remove the panels that are on the front of the drawers, you got the center screw which holds the knob, and then you have one on the left and one on the right that hold that panel on. Typically, by removing those two screws, it pops right off. I am gonna use my hinges again, so I'll just take these screws out and leave the hinges in place. I'm at my local box store getting materials for this do-it-yourself project. I could get a piece of nice sanded plywood and have them cut it on their huge saw, which they generally do for free. Having them cut it saves me a little work and makes it easier to transport the materials. But I think I'm going to go with this pre-primed premium 1x12, which is actually 11 1/4, which is exactly what I need. If your cabinet or vanity is stained instead of painted, you might consider raw wood. And while you're here, you might as well look at the cabinets and get some ideas. You know, this is like the hippest new modern styles, right? I'm looking for something simple for me to reproduce. And I think I found it in this right here. Boom. There it is. Ooh, I like that. It's simple and I can do it. It doesn't look like it'll be a lot of work to reproduce that shaker style. These boards are already the right size. Pre-cut 2x4 plywood. Alrighty. I got all my drawer fronts and doors off. Here's the panels all laid up, ready to go. All the screws were a Phillips head, except for some of them were this Robertson bit, which is a square bit, something the Canadians invented. All right, next step is to replicate. Now I have my wood that is 11 1/4 wide, and so then I just get this measurement, you know, and just duplicate everything I have with the square blocked wood before I even do anything to it. So I've laid these out on my 1x12, which is 11 1/4, and I can do the whole vanity out of one 8-foot board and have a piece left over in case I make a mistake on one of the drawer fronts. So it doesn't always work out that well, but this time it did. I'll probably cut this plate right out of here. Just make a couple of cuts with my skill saw. So let's begin. That's one of my drawer fronts. I make a mark here. I use this to get a good straight line, and I start cutting them off. Let's go. All right, I've got the new panels to replace the old panels, and you could literally sand the edges of these new panels and install them and paint them and be done, and it would look great. But I'm going to do an extra step. I noticed that these things have a kind of an angle here. It's not a 90, so I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to fancy them up a little bit. These doors were absolutely shot, and I have them replaced with these just flat blanks, but I'm going to make 2 sets. I think I might like something else better, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a frame like this all the way around that thing and put a piece of plywood behind it, and I'm going to see if I can make that shaker style. I think it might look good. When I was in the box store, I looked at them all, the cabinets they had, and they had some vanities that had shaker style doors and then flat faced drawers, just like I got. So, you know, it's kind of stylish. I found these nice poplar boards for $1.88 a piece while I was getting my materials, and I'm going to make a frame the outside shape of the door. So I'll glue these and clamp them together, and then I'll have a nice set of shaker doors for the cabinet. I think that's going to look great. I'll put a piece of plywood on the back. It can be done with a skill saw. It'd be better if I had a miter saw, but I don't have one handy, so I'm doing it with a skill saw. But you have to get them exact. They got to be right. There's no such thing as too much glue. If you get any excess, you can wipe it off with a wet rag or a sponge. I just set these off to the side, let them cure for a while, maybe overnight. Then I'll put the plywood on the back, very thin plywood. On this 1/4-inch birch, should work real well. I've adjusted my blade to match this angle right here. All right, I'll run a piece of scrap wood through it, give it a test, make sure it's what I want. That should work. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So that is what I wanted on all edges. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Line your new panel up with your old panel and use that hole for the handle to get it right in the right spot. That's the easiest way to do it. My frames for the shaker doors are dry, so I'm going to trace out on a piece of plywood the size I need, make those cuts and put them together. A little masking tape to hold them in place, and a little weight just to make sure everything's nice and tight. A quick sanding on the raw wood, get the edges real nice. My old door has these grooves in it, so all I have to do is line it up, line the doors up and then trace that groove onto the new one. And then cut it out. And how I'll do that is I just take my skill saw and adjust the depth so it's just like that. That's all they did was carve that out with a blade, like a skill saw blade. If you take a close look at it, if you can you see it? Not much to it. So I'll make that same cut on my new door. I'm going to use an oil primer because I have it, and just get a coat on this before I attach everything and then paint the whole cabinet. When your drawer fronts are all lined up the way you want them, then put the other screws in to hold them permanently in place. You'll definitely be happy with yourself if you didn't skip one of the steps I showed you, and that was to take the old drawer front and line it up and put this hole in, because that's what keeps the whole thing centered. But because I did that, all I gotta do is just straighten it up. And then I can put them other screws in. The hinges that I have are kind of odd. I'm just reusing the old ones. Yours are probably gonna be easier. All I lack now is a paint job. Right now I just give these edges a very light sand and everything. I'm using 220 sandpaper. There's nothing to it. It's already feeling smooth. Now I'll take the drawers out. That'll make it easier. I put the drawers back in to paint them. It's easier. It's probably best to use a drop cloth, which I'm not doing because I'm pretty comfortable with a paintbrush. And remember, everybody drips and sprinkles and drops a little paint, but the good painters carry a wet rag to clean it up before it dries. So remember that, that's key. And since I'm not taking these screws out and I'm painting the threads on the end, before it dries, I just go ahead and put the thing back on, at least get it started. Now all I gotta do is let it dry and I can close it up and show you how nice it looks. Well, I'm very pleased with that, and I saved a couple of grand. I hope yours turns out as good as mine did. Hey, thanks for coming along. Catch you on the next one. Well, do you like it, Jan?
I love it.
You do that better than Vanna White.
Yes. Ladies, I will make a video on how to get your husband to do all these projects for you.